So this is the latest remnant fly. This one turned out to be kind of a Caddis nymph type thing. I was looking through the box and actually saw some of these curved hooks. This is a nice curved Caddis hook, and grabbed a bright bead. I wanted to do something that was more of an attractor pattern than something that might, actually try to match an actual insect. It slowly developed with a little bit of tinsel, or I should say sparkle braid, and an ostrich herl. And this is what we've got. It's a fun little quick pattern. I'm certain this would be great for panfish around here, but I think this would be kind of fun. You got some clear water on a slow afternoon or slow evening or something. It might be kind of fun to drop this underneath a hopper or a dry fly, or even just an indicator. See what it does. So that's kind of a hot spot caddis for our remnant fly, and I'll get started. So I'm going to start this remnant fly by placing my hook in the vise. This hook, I'm pretty certain, is a Mustad. It's either a S49, I think it is, or an R60. No, R60 is a nymph hook. It's a curved caddis hook. I'm going to say it's somewhere in the neighborhood of a size 8, maybe a 6. It's a larger size for a caddis hook. Now, I've already got a bead on here. This is just a orange. It's not a weighted bead. It's just a regular glass bead that I found. I want to make this a kind of a bright fly. So I've already put the bead on there. I'll debarb the hook. This is a very, very simple fly. If you've ever tied any kind of small caddis nymphs like this or whatever, they're really, really unbelievably simple. For thread, I'm going to use, this is a 6/0 Danville in fluorescent chartreuse. I'm going to attach my thread behind that bead. Actually, I'm just going to leave it just a little bit behind that bead. Change my mind. I'm going to run a layer of thread along the hook shank here, down the bend, and what that's going to do, it's going to lighten up the color that will be underneath the body on this. Then I'm going to bring my thread back up to a little bit, maybe an eye length behind that bead there. For the body, I'm just throwing in some flat braid. This is kind of a chartreuse flat braid. You could, I imagine, if you wanted to have some sort of tailing material off of here, you could do that. Actually, before I do that, I need to tie this in. This is some gold oval tinsel. I was looking for a gold wire for this just because I think the wire would be a better reinforcement, but all I had, or all I could find, was the gold oval. Yes, oval gold tinsel. I'm going to wrap that in, doing the same thing, just wrapping down the hook shank. Thinking about it, if I tied more of these, I would have, before I put that base layer of thread on, I would have just attached this tinsel, ran it down, and then ran my thread back up. Again, that's one of the nice things about these remnant flies is you're just kind of throwing some ideas and some things together. Often while you're tying it, you realize, oh, I could have done it this way, and that would have been easier. So the body is just going to be this chartreuse flat braid. It's kind of a skinny flat braid. I didn't want anything really, really thick. I'm just going to attach that because I'm going to actually wrap this down and back up, and that will give me just a little bit thicker body here. A lot of times with these little flies, you do want to try and tie them in such a way that the bodies have a little bit of substance to them, so that at least they look like they're an insect. They're kind of tapered, and they've got, like I said, a little bit of substance to them. I'm going to tie that off right where I tied that in. I don't want to be right up against that bead just yet. Trim away the excess. Now I'm going to wrap in that oval tinsel, and this is just going to be a nice open wrap, maybe 5 or 6 wraps in here. It'll give me a little bit of depth, and it will add some nice segmentation to it. Now, if you wanted to, you could add some UV on here to protect it, to smooth it off. If you want to, it's up to you. I'm going to smooth this area off right behind that bead. It's going to do 2 things for me. It's going to smooth it off for this little ostrich I'm going to tie in, plus I'm going to jam that bead right up against the eye of the hook. For a hackle on this, I'm just using some ostrich herl. This is a Chartreuse Ostrich herl that I found in the kit. I'm going to peel off some of the barbs along that rachis there, just to free that up, and that way when I start to wrap this in, I will have those barbs sticking out perpendicular. I'm just going to go maybe an eye length or so down the hook shank here, and I'll start to wrap that ostrich in. I'm going to get 3 or 4 wraps in here. It'll start to bulk that up a little bit, and I'll start wrapping right up behind that bead. Might even go back over itself just a little bit, just to try and get a little bit more bulk in there. Bring that right up behind the bead, and then I'll wrap that in. Trim out the excess, another wrap or 2, and then I'm going to put in a lip finish here. Just putting in 4 turns. I don't want to build that up. It would be easy to get some thread built up right behind that bead and push down that ostrich a little bit, and I don't want to do that. I'll put on some head cement, but I'm just going to let this kind of drip down off of that bead. That way I'm not getting it on top of that herl and matting it down. So there you have it. There is our little kind of hotspot caddis, I guess, call it that. Some sort of little emerger caddis pupa kind of thing. Definitely more of an attractor pattern. This would not be one to try and match the hatch with. But I do believe that if you had some clear water, it'd be kind of fun to throw something like this around and just see what kind of response you got. So that's the next remnant fly. Thanks for watching today. Thanks for joining me at the Vise today. I hope you learned at least a new pattern, if not a new technique, maybe a tip or trick here and there. If you have any questions about this fly or any of the techniques used in constructing this pattern, please leave them in the comments section down below. If you go to the trouble to ask a question, I'll go to the trouble to answer it. If you'd like to help dressed irons, please share this video with your friends and anybody you think that might enjoy this pattern. Until next time, remember, it's fly tying. If you're not having fun, then you're doing it wrong.